Nyambura, there you go.
All right. Thank you so much, Shiro, guys. Give me 1 minute to get myself started. Okay. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. All right, guys. Wow, thank you so much, Shiro, for taking us through that wonderful presentation. And we are so glad to see you. And we hope you're doing very well up there in the US and that Kwamboy is fine. We're looking forward to having you guys back in September. But thank you so much, because even though you're very, very far away from us and our time differences are quite significant, you still made this possible, and we sincerely appreciate you. So I don't know, Shiro, if you can see my screen so that
Yes,
you see my screen?
Yes,
okay,
I can.
Good. Okay, so I don't know who is recording the call. Maybe they can, JKK, you can record the call for me, or I have the
recording is on.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. So, guys, once again, it's another Tuesday, and we are so grateful to be in this space. And I'm so glad that you're hanging out with us as we continue to challenge each other and to learn from one another. And I think we have had 3 amazing training episodes where we basically were looking at our business model with the aim of helping all of us really understand our business, so that we can figure out really what is it that we are doing and what do we want out of this business, and how far do we want to push this business. So tonight, I'm going to talk about our second topic, and that topic is about defining your business expectations. And I find this one of the most important things that anybody can do, irrespective of what business you do. You need to have very clear expectations of the business you're in. And I thought that this is a topic we need to look at with a bit of, give ourselves a bit of time and purpose and commit to take this as a personal challenge, because it is until you are clear in your minds or as to what it is that you're looking for that you can make it happen. Now, when you think about defining your business expectations, the first question personally I've been asking myself is, why am I in the first place? Why am I in this space? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And one of the things I'll tell you guys is, as you journey in this space we're in, you can expect to meet different kinds of people. Just like what happens when people are traveling. If today you wanted to go to Mombasa, and maybe you decided to go to the SGL train station, you most probably will notice that there are some people who go alighting along the way. It's not everybody whose destination is Mombasa. And this is exactly what is happening in our businesses, or what will happen in this business. Now, there are some people you think that you are on the same journey with, and you begin the journey together with them, but you will notice that they keep alighting along the way. But the question that is most important is not about those people. The question is, who are you and why are you in this space, and what is your destination? Okay, where do you want to take your business, and what do you want to achieve in this business? And I realized that for me to personally be able to define that specific question as to why I'm in this business, I needed to seriously look at my mindset. Okay. And when you think about the mindset, I was checking out the definition of the mindset, and according to Google, mindset basically is a way of thinking that enables you to uncover and see problems as opportunities. Okay? So I asked myself, why would somebody define the mindset by using two very important words, problems and opportunities? And I thought, whenever you look at any situation, something goes through your mind, okay? And you will either look at that situation and see an opportunity for something, or you look at that situation and you see a problem. And when you come into this business, you need to ask yourself, what is your mindset? What is your mind telling you? What is your mind seeing? Are you seeing a problem, or are you seeing an opportunity? Either way, when you see a problem, the question then is, what do you do with that problem? Or when you see an opportunity, what do you see with that opportunity? So I told myself that anybody who wants to succeed in this business, we need to look back. We need to call ourselves for a meeting and just challenge ourselves and ask ourselves, what is it that you saw in the first place that got you into this business? Is it that maybe you are seeing a certain problem and you figured out that this business can help you address that problem? Or did you see an opportunity and you thought, oh my, I could exploit this opportunity and maybe change my life? And before I talk about what I want to talk about tonight, I allowed my mind to flash back to some years back. And if you're on this call and you have never been to Egypt, I would urge you to make sure you visit Egypt before you leave this planet. It's an amazing place that we all need to go if we want to train our minds. And why am I talking about Egypt? Let me give you some little story that I know we are all familiar with. We all know that the Egyptians' pyramids were the most significant man-made structures for a period of 3,800 years. Okay, and I was just checking out, when were the pyramids constructed? When did the construction of the pyramids begin? And what I found is that first and foremost, it took about 85 years to finish the first pyramid, which is called the Giza pyramid or something like that. And it began to be constructed in the year 2504 BC, and it was finished in the year 2589 BC. That's a span of 85 years. And the question I was asking myself, first, that was quite some time, even long before Jesus was born. And then I was saying, imagine somebody sat down and figured that they could build a structure which is today known as a pyramid. Somebody sat down in their minds and they figured that thing out. And then they got things into motion, okay? And they got things done. And today we know there are several pyramids. I mean, that's why I'm saying everybody of us should aspire to go to Egypt. And when you go to Egypt, don't just visit the pyramids. Ask yourself some very, very deep personal questions. But this is the issue with the pyramids, as far as I'm concerned. For 3,800 years, they were the most magnificent man-made structures, meaning for that period of 3,800 years, nothing else, no other human-made structure could outdo the pyramids. And the question I was asking myself, because I have not come across any history that tells us who really designed the pyramids. I'm not worried about who constructed them, because we all know who constructed them. But the question in my mind has been, how did somebody sit down, figure out the pyramids in their head, designed them? What were they thinking? And then they make sure that the structure that comes out transcends generations. A business that transcended generations. For 3,800 years, people were flocking to Egypt to see those pyramids. And as we are talking right now, they're still there. I mean, it's just that other things have come up, but the pyramids are still there and you can go and see them and witness them for yourself. So when I thought about that, I was trying to figure out, first of all, those people did not have the benefit of the technology we have today. There were no cranes to carry those bricks up. There were no earth movers, there were no computers. They didn't have the luxuries that we have today. And then I asked myself, imagine the pyramids are assets of the government of Egypt. I don't know whether there is any documented evidence to show how much revenue Egypt has been able to generate from those pyramids. But I can imagine if that was somebody's business, I don't know how much money they would have made for generations and generations that would have been set free financially because somebody one day thought through that whole process. And I know maybe you may be wondering, why am I talking about pyramids? Because I'm just thinking about the mindset. And then I remember when we began talking about this, we looked at some of the most successful companies in the network marketing industry. And you remember we said that Avon product has the highest turnover today. And that company was birthed in 1986. And then we talked about Amway's, which was birthed in 1959. And then, of course, we talked about Herbalife, which was birthed in 1980. And I've been asking myself, what kind of a mindset is able to create a business that is able to survive this long and still have such a significant impact in the lives of so many people? What kind of a mindset? Then today I was thinking about Amazon, because we all know Jeff Bezos and we all know Amazon. And I realized that Amazon was actually incorporated in 1994. And in 1994, the internet was already there. But of course, majority of the world was not aware that the internet was there, and they were not aware of the revolutionary changes that the internet was about to bring into the world. And today we don't even talk about that because we cannot live without internet. But what I was thinking, what was challenging me is this. From around 1994 up to around early 2000, nobody used to talk about Amazon. I mean, but Jeff Bezos hung on to his dream, and the guy made sure he studied the internet, and he made sure he understood how the internet works, and he created a model of a business that has existed for generations, but he set himself apart. I mean, how many retail stores do you guys know? How many supermarkets have we seen rise and come up and go? I don't know. Wherever somebody is on this planet, how many retail stores have there been in the country you're in? Okay, how many Uchumis? How many Nakumats? How many? I mean, I don't know what names those retail stores are given. But the question is, running a retail store is not a big deal, but how is it such a big deal that it has made one particular man the most richest person on the planet as an individual? What kind of a mind did this guy have when he was beginning this company? So you notice then Amazon will be clocking 30 years in 3 years to come. And Jeff is not walking away from his business. He's still in it, but now he's diversifying his interest in other things. So my question is, when you get into this business, what kind of a mindset are you bringing along? Are you the kind of a person who is thinking, how do I build the equivalent of the Egyptian pyramids that can outlive generations and generations? Are you the kind of a person who is saying, I am going to do this business because I know this business is going to outlive me. It's going to transcend my generations, and it is going to change so many things along the way? Because look at Amazon. Please find out how many people are earning directly, are dependent on that company today. If Jeff had given up on his dream, where would those people be? And now, let me tell you guys, we are in a momentous moment. We are in a moment that people haven't yet grasped. Even me, I want to believe I haven't yet grasped it. Because the same way people were not aware of the disruption that internet was going to bring in their daily lives, is the same way right now we are realizing people are not aware of the disruption and the magnitude of that disruption that is just about to be caused by this blockchain technology. And right now, as we are seated here, we are very privileged to be maybe in the among the 1% who I mean can have a conversation around this space. So when you start to understand the moment you're in, what kind of a mindset are you going to bring into this that will help you define what it is that you want and how far you want your business to take you? That was just like to set the stage. But that is exactly what has been going through my head. I'm asking myself, do I have the realization of what is about to happen? Now, if I do, if I was put in the shoes of Jeff Bezos, let's assume we can run the clock backwards. And this is the year 1998. And I'm told now go into the shoes of Jeff Bezos. What would I do? And that is the question I want you guys to go asking yourself. Right now, in this moment, you are in this time and space, and you know blockchain is here, and it is going to cause a disruption that people have never thought of or imagined that could ever happen. What are you going to do? Now, if the mindset helps you to uncover and see a problem or an opportunity, what then is the problem? What is our problem today? Okay, for me, my problem is money. I need money. I'm always in need of money. I'm always looking for money. But my problem goes beyond money. My problem is that I want to be so educated about the space I'm in so that I grasp every moment, every opportunity that is about to unfold. In fact, for me, that is my greatest problem because I have gotten into a space where now I understand that money is a resource that must come to me when I need it, and it must come in the amount I need it at any one moment in time. So I'm no longer worrying myself about where the money will come from because I know it will come. But I am worried that if I don't invest myself in knowledge and understanding at this moment in time, I'm, oh, sorry, excuse me, 1 minute. Yeah, so if I don't invest in my knowledge and understanding, a day might come when I will look back and I will be saying, why didn't somebody tell me? And I don't want that day to come for me. And I don't want that day to come for the people I associate myself with. I want us to be in a moment where I can be able to help people change their perception, change their mindset, and start realizing that change is going to change the way they think, the way they do business, and the way they live their lives. And we do not want that change, which is going to be very costly, to find us on the wrong side. So for me, I am defining my why I'm in this business. I do not want this moment to leave me under any circumstances. And along the way, I do not want to leave the people that I think I should move along with. And therefore, the desire that or the opportunity I am seeing is an opportunity to mine this moment, to mine it the way gold is mined or the way Bitcoin is mined, to mine it so much that I can have so much to share with the world and that I can be able to leave so much for the generations that are going to come after me. Now, I don't know about you, but that is those are the expectations I'm starting to put on myself and on my business, because I know when I clarify that statement, I will then focus my energy and my effort in terms of helping me achieve that goal. So I want you to, after this, to do an assignment for yourself. And that assignment doesn't have to be done in a day or two. And I want you to sincerely sit down and ask yourself, why are you in this business at this moment in time? Now, when that why becomes clear, then you need to go to the next level. And you need to ask yourself, if then you have to achieve that why, whatever your why is going to be. By the way, my statement is not yet fully defined. I am still working on it. I'm still thinking, why? I may have one or two ideas, but I still believe there is a bigger why, which I'm yet to define, and I will define it. But the why that I'm able to, once you are able to identify why you are here now and why you are doing this, I want you to start asking yourself some very basic questions. What do you need to do to achieve that why? Whatever goal it is, whatever reason that brought you into this business. And let me tell you a small story. Because the space we are in, I want you guys to understand. And I love what Shiro has said in the presentation. She has said that this is a purely referral business. And you notice for us, we just want to build a portfolio of these cryptocurrencies in their raw form. We are not trying to change them. If you're in the business of acquiring Ethereums, you're just using a smart contract to help you acquire Ethereum so that as they appreciate in value, you keep building your wealth. If you want to acquire BUSD, you are not doing anything else. You're taking your BUSD in its raw form and you just want to build a portfolio because you know that it's going to make you so much wealth and you can use that money to refinance any other goal or objective you have in life. Now, so for you to be able to succeed in this business, which is purely based on referral, one of the things that I want us to come to terms with, which is something I have been reminding myself every day, is that this is a skills economy. And let me give you a small story, which I know, once again, know you're very familiar with. Now, we read how the Israelites ended up in Egypt and they built the pyramids. And then eventually Moses gets them out of Egypt. And in this story, we are told by the good book that when they went into the desert, there are some things they did that weren't very good, and God wasn't very happy about them. And so he said, there were people who left Egypt who are not going to step their foot in the promised land. And we all know a majority of those people died in the desert. And this guy stayed in the desert for 40 years. But I want you to pay attention to something there. Now, the people who were in Egypt, the generation that was in Egypt, they had developed some skills, okay? That's why they were able to build these magnificent pyramids that are still standing today, almost 4,000-5,000 years later. These guys, they had developed skills. They would farm, they would construct, they were skilled. This was a skilled labor force. And now they cross over into the desert. And as soon as they cross over into the desert, first, they witnessed maybe one of the greatest physical miracle that will ever be witnessed on earth. I mean, they witnessed the parting of the Red Sea. I try imagining that must have been quite a moment. And they witnessed it. But they go into the desert. Now, as soon as they land in the desert, God changed the economic factors. Okay, in Egypt, they used to use their skills and they would fend for themselves and they would work and they would do whatever. But in the desert, God changed the economic factors and it became an NGO economy. Allow me to use that. Because all they needed to do is wake up, find manna, correct it, enough for the day, eat and sleep. And when there was no water, they make noise at Moses and Moses strikes the rock and the water is available. For 40 years, we are told, those guys did nothing other than move from one spot to the next. So and then these people who had come from Egypt, the ones who had skills were dying off. They were dying off. And a new generation is being born in the desert. And this new generation is what ends up crossing to the promised land. So this new generation that crosses over, I want you to realize something. These guys had no skill. And they had grown up in an environment where manna used to fall from heaven. So they never developed any skill because there was no need for any skill. But let me tell you, the day they crossed the Jordan, first of all, when they were crossing the Jordan, they were told, you're going to a land flowing with milk and honey. So they knew. I mean, you just go correct. I think maybe in their mind, I don't know. I'm just imagining. Maybe they were thinking there were rivers flowing with milk, so they just go fetch. Or maybe honey was flowing everywhere. They just go collect because that's what they were doing in the desert. But the Bible says, when they crossed to the opposite, on the other side, manna ceased instantly, immediately. There was no food. For these guys to feed, they had to develop the skill. If this land was flowing with milk and honey, it means there were cows. For them to eat, they needed to figure out how to milk the cow. For them to enjoy the honey, they needed to figure out how do you collect the honey and avoid being stung by the bees. They had to develop skills for them to survive, for them to live. Now, many times I have looked at us, and why I'm loving that story and I've been meditating on that story a lot is because we witness moments, miracles. We see miracles happening right in front of our eyes, and we know for sure this is a miracle. Okay. Now, there's somebody who needs to mute themselves. May I kindly request that you mute yourself? Okay, I've muted them. Okay, so now I was saying this. We witnessed, most of us who are here, we saw the internet check-in. I believe majority of us understood what happened with the miracle of internet. And it changed the way things are done, and it produced people in the world. They don't have to be in the list of top 10 billionaires or millionaires, but we know there are people whose lives were transformed as we were watching, and today their generations are living in the 1%er, people who have enjoyed financial freedom, because they are not many. They are usually like 1% of the population. We have witnessed it. We saw it happen. We missed the moment. We talk about those people, and we know that the change happened. We didn't quite grasp it, but the miracle was created, and there is evidence everywhere around us. But we still imagine that in this moment and in this time, we are supposed to still be waiting on manna to fall from heaven. Now, when this blockchain technology came in, when I started understanding it, which I must say it is early beginning of this year, that's when I really started understanding it. I was like, wait a minute, another miracle is about to happen. And maybe this miracle might be of a bigger magnitude. I don't know. But I am not going to sit here and imagine that there's going to be manna falling around me that is going to catapult me into the 1%ers who have achieved financial freedom. For me to be able to experience that miracle of flowing milk and honey, I must develop my skill, irrespective of where I'm coming from. I must develop every skill that is needed to help me realize that miracle, because that is what the children of Israel had to do. They had to develop the skill to milk the cow. Otherwise, they were going to sleep hungry and they were going to die of hunger. Now, when I look at our product, for example, I know we talk about the X4 program and the Triple X program, and we tell people that you will earn from the effort of others. And a majority of the people are seated down doing absolutely nothing, not caring to know what skill is needed for me to earn on this program. They want other people to work, and then the manna falls on them, and they still wait to wake up as millionaires. I mean, I find that quite fascinating. It fascinates me, because I ask myself, if it is so easy, if it was that easy for people to just wake up and be millionaires, honestly speaking, me, I think I would be very rich, because I associate with a lot of people who have a lot of money. So that money should be rubbing off on me. But let me tell you guys, if you look and analyze people who have achieved financial freedom, and they are 1% of this economy, don't be cheated by anybody else. If you look and analyze those people, there is something that is very specific about them. They know the skill they have, whether it's an inborn skill or it's a skill they've developed for themselves, and they use that skill to the letter. And they are able to generate wealth, which keeps on generating more wealth for them. And now they can afford to play golf. And by the way, when you see here, those guys play golf, they don't go playing golf. Those guys play golf because that is where they network. And in the golf place, because you know golf is a very prestigious game, you don't get every Tom, Dick, and Harry. You know it is the other 1%er who will be in Modega Golf Club. So when you go there, you know that you're going to meet another person that you can collaborate with and continue to use your skills and make more money. Where are the rest and the majority of the people when the 1%ers are in Muthaiga Golf Club playing golf? The rest of the people are in the streets of Nairobi hawking or doing whatever it is they are doing or talking about how bad the economy is. But if you looked at all of us, irrespective of who we are, whether we are black or white or short or tall or poor or rich or whatever it is, or whether we've gone to school or not, even the people who are blind and the deaf, everybody, God put a talent in them. Whether it is a 1 talent person or a 2 talent or a 5 talent person, every one of us, God has put a talent in us. And that talent is what gives birth to our skills. The question is, why are the talents not being used? Why are people not using talents and expecting that the government is going to provide for them? In fact, now when you think about the government, it's a miserable situation because here in that world, we don't get stimulus packages to stay at home because the economy is bad. We don't. If you lose your job, you're on your own. But the question is, do you have a skill that you have acquired or a talent that God put inside of you that helps you to understand the space you're in, and you realize that that talent is so aligned to that space, and all you need to do is develop that skill and everything else changes for you? So I don't know about you, but I do know about myself, and I know one of the talents I have is the talent of speaking. But I have had to seriously train myself by following mentors, paying for classes on transformational speaking and coaching and all that stuff, and following other pacemakers in that space to teach me to use that talent in the right way. Because talking is not big deal. Anybody can talk, and I mean, anybody can talk. But what do I talk about when I open my mouth to talk about my business? What do I say? Am I blessing this business? Am I building hope? Am I giving people confidence? Am I giving people certainty? Or am I killing the business? Because a lot of people have the skill, but they use the skill at their own detriment. Because when they open their mouth, hey, people are like, oh, okay, that thing, I'm not interested. Because they kill the business themselves. So the question I've been asking myself, if I want to, I'm in this space of where for me to build a business, I must build people. How am I using that skill? Because I'm in a skills economy. Other than the skill of talking, what other skill do I have? And how am I using that skill? Now, you can use your skill. You can develop a skill that you didn't have. I personally believe that if you're very passionate about something, you can develop a skill that you don't have, and you can use that skill. And God says He will bless the work of your hands, if so long as you're doing the right thing. The Bible assures us that if you go out and plant seeds, that's why even the people who plant bad seeds, there is a guarantee you must harvest. So if you're using your skill, if you're learning to develop your skill, is it aligned with your why? Is that skill in any way going to help you achieve the why? Now, unfortunately, a lot of people today, they want to microwave success and they want to microwave mastery. They think that they can wake up and be very successful overnight. It will not happen. Well, you could be lucky that if you participated in a launch of this program, and I just want to mention that because we've seen a launch is like a weed fall. There are some people who have participated in a launch of this product, and for some reason, they attracted a lot of money. But that's a one-off. And that is not a sustainable way of running your business. In fact, this business is not based on any launch. Because if the business was based on a launch of a product, what happens after all the products have been launched? The business is over. Have we finished? This business is purely based on the daily activity you put in when the product has been launched and made available to you. A lot of people have put their hopes on a launch night, such that immediately after the launch happens, irrespective of what the circumstances are, what the results are, they stop doing the business. Now, the question I'm asking myself, when gold is launched, which is the final product, and the launch is just to bring the product to us, what will happen to those people? So, do they understand why they are doing this business? How can you do business based on a launch? So the question is, if you're in a skills economy and you're understanding that the manner economy ceased a long time ago, what skill do you have? What skill are you developing? Where do you want that skill to take you? That question is 100% the question I've been asking myself. Now, the skill helps you to develop capacity. And for those of us who are familiar with a good book again, I want you to remember there's a parable that is told of the talents. And there are three guys here. One guy is given 5 talents, another one 2, and another 1. But I want you to realize something, that these people were given talents according to their ability. First, it's not according to their spirituality. Because a lot of people think that because they are very spiritual, now their things are going to work. No, the talents were given according to their ability. So all of us have ability or capacity. Ability is equal to capacity. Everybody is given something based on their ability that God knows. This ability will produce the right results for them, and it will not destroy them. Because another thing, you do not want to have ability that destroys you, because if you don't train yourself and you don't come to terms with who you are, you can have success that can destroy you. We don't want that. Now, the question you should ask yourself is, what capacity have you developed in this business? When you see people sharing their testimony, and JKK says, in the last 2 months, I have earned $37,000. What do you go out there saying in your heart? Not what you tell people. What do you say in your heart? You need to notice that this JKK has developed some certain capacity and some skills that are attracting this kind of money to him, because the money doesn't just come. There are certain things he has been doing, and he's been doing them consistently. Now, I come across people in this space who tell me, I brought a client and this is how much they invested. And I'm like, one client. And then after that client, what happens? And they're like, oh, I expected to earn this much money. And I'm thinking, with one client? Seriously, let's get real. If you observe JKK, every day of the week, from what I have seen from him and what I've been learning from this guy, every single day of the week, JKK is consumed in this business. He will either be in an activation somewhere, he will be in a Zoom every single day, he'll be in Kileleshwa hosting meetings, he will go and do one-on-ones. And because of that, I am not surprised that he has those kind of results. I don't know what his why is. I don't even know how far he wants to take his business. But I do know one thing. There's some capacity and there's some skills he's put in, and the money is finding him. And now the most beautiful thing is he has challenged some of us to get out of our little comfort zones, to really start working on our skills and our capacity, and we are starting to see our lives change. And that's what you need to do. You need to identify with people who will help you move towards the direction you want to move, as long as you are aware which direction you're going. Now, there is a category of people, two categories of people who are in this business. There is a category of people who manifest results or manifest their why, and there's another category of people that explain their why. And the people who manifest their why, they will never have an explanation. I mean, I've never had JKK explaining anything to anybody. He wakes up, I know I'll either find him wherever he is, either in Kilelesha or whatever he is, or whether he's doing one-on-one or doing a Zoom or whatever he is, I know he manifests the results. And those results are always available for all of us. But there's another category of people who are always having an explanation as to why they are not achieving the results they want, an explanation as to why they are not able to attend Zoom, they are not able to invite, they are not able to do this. They just have an explanation. Now, if you are in a space where you're finding yourself with more of explanation than manifestation, please go back to my first point and ask yourself, why are you doing this? Because if you're doing this as a business to sustain you and sustain your family and build your dreams, where is the space of explanations? Are you explaining because you need to be developed, to be helped to develop a capacity or to develop a skill, or why are you explaining? The people who have explanations, you have heard them say, oh, you told me on launch night, I will earn so much money. I'm still waiting to wake up a millionaire. Those are explainers. They're explaining why they don't have results, why they don't achieve what they want. But look at their pattern, look at their habit. How often do you see them committing even 15 minutes of their day to this business? If you tell them to join a Zoom on a Saturday evening, which I tend to always host, how many people do you see on a Saturday? Question is, where are they? Why are they always having something else that is more important than this business? If they are clear on their why. And I'm also saying some people could have achieved their why. I mean, there are some people whom I have personally come to believe they have achieved their why. Maybe they had a sort of a financial crunch somewhere and they needed some money to sort it out, and they got some money and they sorted out, so they no longer have a why. And it's okay, because it's not everybody who got you to this point who will take you to your next level. But a majority of the people, I can tell you, they have not yet even begun to achieve their why, but they are so full of explanations that you're wondering, why are they here? Why are they in this business? And if you're one of those people, if you have found yourself having explanations, ask yourself, where are the explanations coming from? Now, somebody once challenged me when they were explaining the talent of the parable of the talents. And it's a story we all know, and it's a story we've had, I mean, we are familiar with. And it's very easy for us to point a finger at this guy who was given one talent and he went and hid it. The other two we know, they worked out their talent, they multiplied it. So when the master came, the master was very happy with their results. And remember, they were each given according to their capacity, not the spirituality. But this particular guy who buries his talent, we all throw stones at him, okay? Because we wonder, surely, why he couldn't even think of what to do with this talent. He had to dig it in the ground and hide it. But the question is, have you ever wondered, where are you in that parable? Who are you in that parable? Because the parable was a teaching. It was not about those three guys. It was about me and you. The question is, if I was to ask you, what are your talents right now? If I was to give you 2 minutes and tell you, write down your talents that God gave you, would you in 2 minutes even have one or two in your mind? Are you even aware what your talents are? Well, let's assume you are. The question is, are you a 5-talent guy, or are you a 2-talent guy, or are you a 1-talent guy? Ask yourself that question. And then the other question you should ask yourself is, because a lot of people start thinking and they're like, wait a minute, I think I'm a 1-talent guy. And then the question is, let's even assume you're a 2-talent guy. What have you done with those talents? And by the way, let me say this. Your talent and your job are totally different things. I'm not talking about your employment. You say, oh, I'm a banker. Banking is something you do to earn a living. I'm talking about the talent that God gave you and he put it inside of you. And that is the thing that attracts you to a place like this one. That talent. If you're here and you have a background in health, in healthcare, you are a medic, you are a nurse, or you are whatever, what are you doing in Forsage? There is something inside of you that draws you to Forsage, and that is the talent. Because the talent you have drives you into things that you're supposed to be doing. These other things are jobs we have acquired along the way and skills we have acquired along the way to perform certain jobs. That's not what I'm talking about. Now, if you're a one, let's assume a lot of people, I've been talking to people and asking them that question, and a lot of people are like, oh my God, I can't even think about my talent. I have no idea what they are. Or somebody tells you, ooh, at least I can think of one. And then now you go to the next level and you ask yourself, if you have identified that talent, that draws you to something all the time. You don't want to do that thing, but it draws. You find yourself in the next network marketing company, and you're like, I don't want to do this thing. The next one comes, and you find yourself there. That's a talent in you, calling you into your rightful place. But the question is, what have you done with that talent? Is that talent in any way, could it have put you in this space you're in now? And if it has put you in this space, what have you done with it? Could you be the one guy who buries their 5 talents in the ground? And then you start explaining why you notice this 1 talent guy is the only one who had an explanation when the master came. The others didn't. They came, said, you gave me 5 talents, I worked them out, here are the other 5 talents, and he was rewarded. The 2 guy came, said, you gave me 2 talents, I worked them out, here are the result. But the 1 guy talent, he came with an explanation. So if you keep finding yourself with explanation, could you be the 1 talent guy that Jesus wanted us to think through? I mean, I've been there myself. I've been trying to do these exercises to help myself, because I realize if I don't help myself, nobody will help me. So if you have a talent that keeps drawing you into this space and you keep burying it in the sand, and all you do is explain why you're not doing this, why you're not achieving this, why, then why are you here? Why are you in this business? What do you expect this business to do for you? Because the business will give you exactly what you give it. If you go out and you plant seeds in this business, expect the seeds to germinate. And the seeds always germinate at their right time, and they are different seeds. Now, I'm not being a theologian or anything. I just love using some examples of the Bible, because these are stories that are supposed to help us as individuals, not those people we refer to in the Bible. Now, I like to tell people this. I have learned that I am a farmer in this business. My concept is farming. So my work is to go and scatter the seeds, plant them. Some will fall in on the good soil, others will fall on the path, they'll be picked by birds, others will grow with thorns. And they will be chalked, and they will be negative, and they will throw that, and they will say all manner of things. But there is a group of seeds that will fall on the good ground. And those are the seeds that I'm interested in, because I personally want to be that seed, because it's the only way I can expect this business to give me something back in return. But when your seeds start germinating, when you start developing the skill of dealing with people, you need to realize people are like normal seeds. When a farmer plants seeds, my mother would plant sukuma wiki. In 14 days, we are eating the sukuma wiki. That is an economy that grows quickly, and it keeps giving you daily bread. You know, sukuma wiki, you pluck, you make ugali, and you have dinner. But there are some other crops that my mother would plant, the beans and the potatoes, and they would drag themselves for like 3 months. But when we harvest them, they kind of gives my mom some bit of ease, because now we can put some few sacks of beans and potatoes in the granary, and we are assured of a continuous meal for a few days or few months. But I come from a very cold place where the maize crop takes about 8 months. And when my mother would plant the maize crop, it would take exactly 8 months for her to harvest. But when she harvests the maize crop, we are guaranteed our food for the next 1 year. And I've realized that's how people are. But it has taken me to develop some sort of sense or some skill to realize that in this business, I am going to plant the seed. There are some that are going to behave like sukuma wiki. Immediately, they sprout, and I start eating some little money here and there. And then there are others that will take like 3 months to germinate. And then after 3 months, somebody calls me and tells me, that thing you're telling me about, can we discuss? And when they come, they push me for the next 2-3 months. But when I get my maize crop, and I'm just using that as an example, that crop will push me so far. And that is how this business of ours is operating. So when you start getting that kind of clarity, you realize, because you don't know which seed is going to germinate at what point, you can never stop planting. You go to plant today and tomorrow and the day after and the day after. And in the process, you're developing your skill. You are clarifying your why, and before you know it, you will be harvesting continuously. Because the thing that a lot of people, that I've also found with a lot of people, is that if the germination doesn't happen as fast as they want, they quit. So I ask myself, why were they here in the first place? If in 2 months you are quitting on the business, which business do you normally start and it stabilizes in 2 months? You're quitting in 2 months. In fact, there are people who quit after 1 week, immediately after the launch. And I was asking myself, okay, why did they put their money here? Were they clear? Did they know what? Did they understand the expectations of this business? Now, this is not a business that is going to die tomorrow. Blockchain will not go anywhere. And I believe smart contracts are going to be some of the most successful products on the blockchain technology. They are going to give you the sukuma wiki for the now, the potatoes in 3 months, and the beans, and some other crops in 5 months. But there is that tree that's going to germinate, and it will take you years, and you'll be eating from that tree for years to come. Now, if that is not clear in your mind, you might miss this moment, and it will be very sad. Ask yourself, why is Amway still in existence since 1959? How many other network marketing companies have come and collapsed in that time frame? And this company still exists, and it turns over $10 billion every year. What are the foundations? What are the roots? The person who began this business, what did they want to achieve with this business? Because I want to believe it could even have surprised them. They were clear in their mind. They needed a business that could outlive them and that could impact so many people. And they have achieved that and so much more. So have you defined what it is that you're expecting out of your business? Do you want to be a person who manifests results or manifest what it is that you want? Or do you want to be a kind of a person who is always explaining why this is not working, why that, why that? Now, one of the treatments for this explanation problem is developing a very clear marketing strategy. Because when you develop a marketing strategy around your product, even if initially you're not so sure, as you keep on talking to people, as you keep on executing this strategy, you start to learn and to gain more understanding and gain more ground and get to understand how the environment is responding. And that creates confidence and certainty. And let me tell you, I have listened to a few people who are very successful in their specific areas. And one of the people I love so much and follow so much is Lisa Nichols. And Lisa Nichols says, one of the reasons why a lot of businesses fail is because of lack of certainty. The people who are in this business are not certain themselves of what it is that they are selling, what are the benefits, or what is the long-term outlook of that business. And if you're there and you're still doubting and you're still thinking, what exactly am I selling? What can this outlive 2 years, 10 years? Would this still be there in the next 15 years? If you are lacking that certainty, I want you to take it upon yourself to develop it by surrounding yourself with people who are knowledgeable, who will help clear those doubts in your mind. But most importantly, you got to invest yourself in understanding what it is you're doing. Because you have to be certain, you have to be clear in your mind what it is that you're doing and what kind of result you can expect it to have in the long term. Now, one, like I've said, if you have a marketing strategy that puts you out there, you're with people all the time. People will ask you all manner of questions. People will challenge you on what it is that you're talking about. But the more you put yourself out there, the more they educate you and the more you become clear with regards to what you're doing. Now, if you're not certain about what you're doing yourself, how do you expect somebody else to be certain? How do you expect somebody else to believe in you? You got to work on yourself. You got to be clear. There should not be an element of doubt. If you believe this is a money-making machine, first and foremost, prove it to yourself before you can prove it to another person. You got to buy the idea and you got to be a beneficiary of the transformation of your product. If you believe this product is going to transform other people's lives, the transformation has to begin with you. And transformation is not always about acquiring a lot of money. It is up here. What goes in your mind? How is that helping you see life differently? Understand what is going on and align yourself with the right people. And of course, you develop confidence. Now, the final one before I close. If you start defining your why, because this is not going to be an overnight thing, I want you to ask yourself, then how will you know if you are achieving your why and when you will have achieved your why? Because let me tell you, anybody who begins a business and they have no way of telling whether they are on track and they have no way of knowing when they get there, that business can take them anywhere. You know, they say any road will lead you anywhere. Now, you must be very clear. If this is the why I am doing this, I have to have a way of tracking every little milestone that helps me to keep track of knowing if I am still in the right business, if I'm still in the right place. And when you achieve, because you must have goals that are achievable, you must have a way of knowing, oh, I have achieved my first milestone. I don't know what your milestones are, but you must have a way of knowing, when do I achieve my first milestone? Because achieving a first milestone, think about a mother. I mean, when we give birth to children, there are some automatic milestones in our heads. And you know, if your child doesn't do that within that period of time, you need to take them to the doctor for the doctor to tell you if the child is okay. Okay? And one of the milestones, I think, that I can remember for my children is at the age of 9, they're supposed to start teething. I'm supposed to start seeing some little teeth coming out. If my child goes to 12 months and they are not teeth, there could be a serious dental issue. I need to take them to the doctor to tell me if they are okay. Now, if you are in this business, what are your milestones? What helps you know if you're really on track? When you achieve what it is you set out to achieve, how will you know? What mechanism have you put in place to help you track that? I don't know. But I know I'm developing my milestones and my tracking system or goal tracking system to help me stay on course. And let me tell you guys, personally, because I'm still developing my skills so that I can fit properly in this economy, there are some things that I must do every single day, unless I have an exceptional case. And those things are, I must put myself in front of a customer every single day. It doesn't matter whether it's only one customer, and it doesn't matter whether it's a physical meeting or a Zoom meeting. I must put myself in front of a customer. How many customers have you seen this week, talked to, spoken to about this? For me, those are my daily milestones. And the day I don't do a physical meeting, and I don't do a Zoom, and with a guest of my own, I know I'm falling behind my target. Because it doesn't matter. Every single day, I must put myself in front of a customer. My daily tracking system. Now, of course, I have other tracking systems. And also, I have also told myself every week, if I don't conduct a training session like this, because that's a passion of mine, and it is part of the skill set that I'm bringing into this business. Every week I don't conduct a training like this, I'm behind my schedule. Those are some of the little tracking systems I am putting in place for myself. I don't know about you. But until you define those basics, next week we'll look at now the nitty-gritties of, okay, so if you're clear on your milestones, what are the numbers? Because if there are no numbers, this is a game of numbers. If there are no numbers, it can be a story, and you can be ticking your box and saying, yes, I've achieved this milestone, I've achieved, but the numbers must be there. And to next week, in the next session, that's exactly what we shall look at. So I do hope that between now and next week, you will take a serious assessment of who you are in this business and the why you are in it as the beginning part of defining your business expectation. Because this business, I can tell you guys, will be the next pyramids of Egypt. It will stand the test of times because I know and I'm convinced beyond a shadow of doubt that blockchain technology is here and it is going to change so many things, and it is going to produce a generation of one percenters, and I must be one of those. Just like internet produced the Jeff Bezos of this one is going to produce the next one percenters. So do you want it to do that for you? If you do, then you must do some of those basic things. So thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me. I do honestly hope and believe that I have added some value into your lives. But just in case there's a comment or a question, you can feel free to unmute yourself and respond. But I'm so grateful that you've spent this time with me. Next week, we shall summarize that particular topic, and we look at how do we help everybody to stay on track as far as their expectations of their business is concerned. So with that, God bless you. Have a lovely rest of the week. As Shiro has said, tomorrow we shall be in Thika. It shall be our great joy to be in your company or in the company of your guests, just in case you're not able to join us. We will be there and we will put ourselves in front of our customers. So with that, unless there's a question, may I hand over the meeting back to Shiro? Shiro, are you still on this call? Shiro, are you on this call? I think Shiro could have dropped out. So, JKK, may I hand over the meeting back to you? Thank you. JKK, are you there? Okay, I can't see. Oh, yes, there you go. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is Simon. I'm sure I'm burning up to really congratulate you for that that piece of information there, and of course you really added a lot of value unto us. And I feel like I can almost summarize what you are saying. Number one, like decision determines the destination where we are going. But before we get there, me personally, because I'm the variable, I need two critical things. And you really defined them well. One is a burning desire coupled with faith. And there's always something that stands between failure and success. And you really articulated that well, that there is always a disappointment. And when you listen to our people, you hear a lot of them sounding those disappointments. I've not seen the money. And for me, I think I was even wondering, because I'm still on the road, I was wondering, where is everybody? This information is for our team. Everybody who is in Forsage should be hearing this information, should be listening to you. Somebody who is having doubt, they need to understand that, like you put it, that they need a skill set. So me, I'm so happy, and especially for being in this space. The learning, the seeking of this information is profound, and I can't wait. So guys, let's put this information to work, because faith without action is dead. Let's go to work and practice, practice, practice. And eventually, guess what? Every time we improve, every time we get better, every time we move forward. Thank you so much, Nyambura, for that. I can't wait for next week for a similar session. And guys, may God bless you. Have a brilliant, pleasant night. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mikwe. You always encourage and build us. So thank you. God bless you. Yeah, JKK, you can close for us the meeting, please.
I think thank you so much. Thank you so much for that training, and thank you, Simon, for summarizing it so beautifully. You just spoke my heart. I mean, I was just thinking about when you are talking about you don't know the why of many of us. By the way, me, I have a serious why. All right, I have a serious why. So, but anyway, so thank you so much. I believe that all of us that are here and those that will listen on the recordings later, and I believe we can share it widely. Let's encourage all our members to listen to this particular training over and over, because it speaks to every detail of what we are doing and how we will succeed in this business. So thank you so much. I really appreciate this training. And just like Simon said, I'm looking forward to every training that all of you are doing, whether it's you, Simon, Shiro, Florence. I mean, each one of us. I mean, each one of these you guys, you are really putting your heart out on this training, and it's just amazing. So thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. And God bless everyone.